Hello and welcome to this week's edition of the Horror Debate. I'm Michael Mandy. He's Rowdy Jeff.
And this week we are reviewing The Devil's Rejects from 2005, directed by Rob Zombie, starring Sherry Moon Zombie, Sid Haig, and a bunch of other really woody-looking characters.
Yeah, well, actually, a lot of characters that you'll probably go, "Oh yeah, that guy."
Yeah.
Yeah, I recognize her. She was in the movie. That movie.
Exactly. Yeah, it was kind of like a who's who in this movie, right? I mean, I made a joke like towards the beginning, and I honestly didn't mean it for it to come like to fruition, but I made a joke about Any Which Way You Can earlier in the
because Jeffrey Lewis was in it.
But that was before I even knew he was in it, and then all of a sudden, here he is, and I'm like, dude, that's him.
Yeah, Jeffrey Lewis.
It was just dumb luck.
Yeah,
kind of funny. I was seeing all these faces, like the chick from Three's Company.
Priscilla Barnes.
Yeah, I was like, what the heck's going on here? Is this the same movie? Is this the Rob Zombie flick? But I gotta tell you, man, once again, I'm impressed.
Yeah, and Danny Trejo too. He's in like all of Robert Rodriguez's films.
DDP. Hey, I love DDP. He's on our friends list, by the way, on MySpace, man. Good old Diamond Dallas had, 3 lines in the whole movie, but they were quality lines. And, hey, man, I'm a big DDP fan. So, but anyway, I liked it. I thought this movie, once again, something very kind of different than what you kind of expected out of the sequel to House of a Thousand Corpses, and for that alone, I thought it was really cool. They took it in a whole different direction,
which I liked a lot.
I did, and this felt so much more like put together and pre-thought out, and
it's funny. I was about to say you can tell that this film was that Rob Zombie learned from the first film. I mean, that film looked like. I don't want to say a student film, but obviously a first film. And this one looked more like a professional done film.
Definitely. The characters were definitely, I thought, more flushed overall. The
pacing was a lot better.
You got to deal with Captain Spaulding in a whole new way, man, which I thought was really cool. He, once again, man, Sid Haig just knocks it out of the park with his character, man. This is him.
Yeah.
This is him, And, we had a wonderful supporting cast, man. I don't know if wonderful is a good word to use in this review, but we really did. We had, everywhere you looked, there was quality people in the parts.
William Forsythe as the sheriff.
I was just going to say, William freaking Forsythe, dude. Did this guy just tear it up? Did he just tear it up, man? I mean, oh, my God. I was at the end, dude, I had to smile across my face like you would not believe, man. When he was I'm not gonna spoil it, but when he was
very intense,
when he was getting his, when he was coming back and getting his and kind of avenging his brother's death. Oh, that was a beautiful thing.
Yeah, he was chewing up the scenery, and you could tell he was just loving it.
That was as dirty Harry as you're going to get in one of these movies, man. That was great.
Kind of reminded me a little bit from Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2 when Dennis Hopper is the sheriff coming back.
Right.
Only I'll give more props to Forsythe. He was much more intense.
Yeah, Dennis Hopper can't intimidate anything. If he was on a 7-foot ladder, he wouldn't be as tall as Forsythe. Come on, man. This guy's happening. I loved it. I really thought. That everything kind of came together in this one. All the elements that were cool in the first carried over to the second, and a lot of the stuff that wasn't so cool from the first didn't, and it made this movie so much better.
This film also had a little more grounded in reality. They took away. You notice there was no Dr. Death character in this. No, Walking Dead people or
But we did have a pimp, which was good replacement for Dr.
Ken
Satan.
Foray, he was in Dawn of the Dead, the original.
Well, there you go.
Him. Dawn of the Dead.
I knew I didn't like that guy for some reason. Yeah, man. I mean, the splatter effects and all the gore is still there, of course. And
PJ Souls is in this one too.
Like I said, the gore and no, she got knocked the out.
Yeah, she got knocked out.
It was a beautiful thing, man. I got to tell you, I honestly think that this is about as good as Rob Zombie's going to do. Yeah. I think that this was good stuff, man. This is one of those ones where there was a scene, and again, I don't want to spoil anything, but there was a scene where a truck hit a person in the middle of the road. And it was the most gory, splatter, graphic, scene that I've seen in a long time. And that really scored points with me, man.
Yeah,
when they went back to the road after it was all over, and you saw the intestines laying in the middle of the road.
You saw parts everywhere.
Dude.
Yeah. This guy had a grin from ear to ear.
I was loving it, man. What a fantastic way to go, man.
So what's run down the plot?
Well, why don't you run down the plot? Because I'm just loving all the action scenes, man.
The plot's basically after House of a Thousand Corpses took over. William Forsythe's character is also a sheriff, and in the first one, a sheriff gets killed. So he decides that's it. Kid gloves are off. He's going after the family, and so the three main characters, Captain Spaulding, Otis, and Sherry Moon, they go out on basically a road trip.
Yeah.
And all the interesting characters and people they meet. And
I missed the original mother.
Yeah.
I missed not having her in this movie. It always kind of throws the continuity askew when you change one of the main characters. Yeah. And not to say this replacement did a terrible job. She didn't. She did a very convincing job, but I love when you have a sequel and you're able to carry the same actors over to the
Leslie Easterbrook. She was on Laverne and Shirley.
Well, see, I see the connection right there.
I was sitting there watching these. You see, like I said, all these people. Oh, I know that person. Oh, I know that person.
Why couldn't Squiggy come over and play in this, dude? Why couldn't we have Squiggy in this? That's what I want. I'm going to write Rob and find out. Yep. What does Squiggy want too much money to do the sequel to House of a Thousand Corpses or what? But man, I can't say hardly anything bad about this flick. I mean, it was intense. It was an intense ride. And if you're one of those people who likes movies like I'm going to say, for instance, like I was thinking, and you're going to find this funny, and I don't know if you've seen this movie or not, but I was thinking, it kept popping up in my head, the movie Running Scared with Paul Walker. Okay, because
not the Running Scared with Billy Crystal and Gregory Hines.
Are they named Paul Walker? Okay, no. So Paul Walker's Running Scared, the guy that played in Into the Blue and the Fast and the Furious and More Fast, Even More Furious and Terribly Fast and Terribly Furious and all those sequels that came after it. He's a decent actor, and he did this movie entitled Running Scared, which I'm aware of the Billy Crystal one as well. But this one was also, it wasn't a horror movie, but what it was the most intense, dramatic, almost like kind of mobster movie, but not really like in the true sense of the word. It was kind of like an underground kind of thing. The revenge scenes in that movie, as soon as I started watching Forsythe kicking some butt, I immediately hearkened back to that movie, and I was thinking, wow, this is so close to that vibe. That how wicked can we get? In Running Scared, they hold Paul Walker's character down on the ice, face down, and shoot a hockey puck into his face.
Ow!
It was beautiful, dude. I mean, I was off the couch. Doing the wave with myself.
To me, this was kind of like a twisted Bonnie and Clyde, a modern version almost.
Yeah,
Killers on the Run.
When Forsythe nailed the freaking guy to the chair, man, I was just like, oh yes, this is gonna be a beautiful thing.
It was nice to see. We were just talking. A lot of these films nowadays are made where the bad guys, they hurt people, torture people, and everything, and then at the end of the movie they get away with it. It's nice to see.
I agree.
People getting their comeuppance finally.
I agree.
Now, I didn't spoil anything because the movie doesn't end there.
Oh, they get theirs. Well, they get theirs. And I don't have any shame in saying that. Yeah, payback, you know what they say. Yeah. But
this is a film that makes you appreciate watching it at the end. You're okay.
And then I realized once again when I'm watching this movie.
It's okay to get a release.
And I kept thinking, Forsythe, I know this dude from somewhere. And it turns out he was the guy in Out for Justice, man, with Steven Seagal, and I didn't even make the connection. One of my favorite Steven Seagal movies. He was the main villain, and so I was like, wow, I'm making all kinds of connections here with all these different actors.
Oh yeah, I remember that guy.
Yeah. So anyway,
one thing that kind of bugged me about this film. One thing was I really thought all the classic rock songs really stuck out like a sore thumb.
They did.
They really didn't fit.
And I loved how, well, I don't want to say I loved, I kind of liked how when the music did kick in, that a lot of the sound effects were muted.
Yeah.
And it was just the music.
Which they really wanted it in the forefront.
Well, I'm not sure if that was it or if it just kind of made you watch the scene more intently. Sometimes when you're hearing the scene and you're watching the scene, maybe you're not paying as much attention to the small details that are on the screen. But if you take all the sound effects out, and all you're doing is running music, familiar music at that, because like you said, all of it is classic rock, over the background of it, I think it really makes you look at that scene in a different way. It adds a certain emotion from the music into that scene. And I think it was used kind of well, actually, in a couple of those scenes, which kind of made you sit back and go, yeah, you kind of look at it a little bit differently. It's not bang, bang, shoot, shoot, bang, bang. It's Freebird. Okay, it's like it's this mellow kind of thing.
Yeah, but to me, it takes me out of the film. It's like, the music brings different memories to me, and this film is not one of them.
You mean when you heard Freebird for the first time, you didn't think of Captain Spaulding? Is that what you're telling me?
Exactly. They're
dude,
playing Freebird. I
thought of Captain Spaulding immediately if you're hearing Freebird. Come on. No,
to me,
that's
it's
not the point.
To me, it's like, oh, gee, they want to sell copies of the soundtrack.
No. What I think he was doing, and Rob, you're on our friends list. Talk to us, pal. Let us know if this is the truth, okay? What I'm thinking is that he took songs that had a certain emotional content to them, what he was feeling in those songs. Okay? Freebird is kind of like a sorrowful kind of song. Okay?
Okay, so
just in the tonality of it. I'm not even listening to the lyrics. Just in the tonality of the song. So you've got a scene where these guys just got their butt kicks all across, you know what? Here they are at fate's end, right? Or what you think could be fate's end. Here comes Freebird on If I Leave Here. Excuse my singing. But you know what I mean? The vibe of the whole thing. The vibe of the whole thing kind of puts you in that emotional connection, in my opinion. I could see where he was trying to go with that. Now, in certain scenes, other scenes where he muted everything and played a song, I didn't think it was quite as effective.
I fooled around and fell in love while he's taking these guys out to kill them. To me, like I said, it pulled me out of the film, and
it had a different effect on me. It didn't pull me out of the film. It kind of made me. I sat there and I kind of pondered on it. What was he trying to do here? What did this song mean to him that it would add?
But you see, it pulled you out of the film and made you start thinking, what's the director's motive?
Yeah,
instead of being caught up in the scene.
It didn't really pull me out. I don't think. I just, I get very cerebral with some of this stuff, and I try to think about, what he was trying to achieve by doing this, because it's kind of a weird thing. You don't see it often in movies where all the sound effects are gone. You just got the song. And you've got these actors in slow-mo or whatever doing the thing, I mean, it's...
Oh, that's the other thing, that slow-motion camera. But they didn't use a slow-motion camera. They used a fast-motion camera and then slowed down the projector to show everything all blurry as it moved. So that drives me nuts. I hate it when they do that.
Again, I mean, this guy, Zombie, uses all sorts of different techniques to achieve these kind of visual pieces, and a lot of them are kind of not conjuncted together, you know what I mean? They're not like, they're not connected, but they do make for some cool kind of eye candy sometimes, and I wasn't against it or for it. I was kind of indifferent on that whole thing, I do like the fact that he does try to change it up visually, though. It's not always the same thing, and especially in the first movie. I mean, I felt like I was on a high somewhere, I mean,
to watch that first movie, you have to be high.
Well, no, the first movie has its points. This is a better film. I will agree with that.
Yes, this is the better film of the two.
I do agree with that.
And he took it in a totally different direction.
This satisfies.
That was a horror film, and this is more of a revenge film.
Well, exactly.
Like you said, Dirty Harry. This is almost a Dirty Harry.
This satisfied what I was looking for in the sequel, and I was hoping that it would bring the first movie into some sort of realism, some sort of believability, and it definitely did. It achieved everything I wanted it to achieve. I do want to mention the DVD, which was really cool, actually, and it was even cleaner than the original movie, which I thought was remastered beautifully, and I thought the sound was excellent in House of a Thousand Corpses. This movie, DTS ES 6.1, which on my system makes a big difference. A lot of people's systems don't have 6.1, but if you do have it, I noticed things, and I was pointing it out during the movie, being real annoying, going, oh, did you hear that? It came from the rear center channel and shot to the left, and oh, did you hear that swish over there? And it went to the right, And what that does is it creates, if you have a rear center channel, it's discrete, which means it has completely different sound effects in that one speaker as the other two speakers in the rear do, and it adds more depth to the rear sound field. You'll really notice it in movies like Star Wars and Empire Strikes Back. This movie really used it. I mean, it was really using it. There was all kinds of things going back there and getting loud in that center channel and then dissipating off to the left. Very cool remastering job. I like that. Most theaters don't have that, by the way. You almost have to have it in your house or you're not gonna have it. But just had to mention that. Very, very well done DVD.
So how many stars, Jeff?
None. No, I'm kidding. For the sound or for the movie? No. Honestly, you're going to probably think I'm a little nuts on this one, but I'm going to give it 4. I'm going to give it the 4 because, again, I was entertained. I had characters that were not only just entertaining, but they, you kind of, after watching them in a couple of movies, you kind of feel like, hey, I know these guys. You know what I mean? You kind of get that connection to them. I thought Sherry Moon Zombie was not nearly as annoying in this movie as she was in the first movie.
And she still showed her butt.
She still likes to show her butt, which...
But that's all.
But, yeah, you know, and I don't know why we had to point on that, but... But I would honestly say that this movie achieved exactly what I wanted it to for a sequel to the first movie. Brought that first movie into some realm of believability, and I think it's a 4-star flick. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, most of this, I feel the same way. A much better film than the first one. Like the fact they put one foot in reality. The only thing was, like I said, the classic rock songs just pulled me out. I didn't care for it that much.
And anytime you got a pimp driving a convertible Cadillac, you know, it's a good movie, right? I mean, what was the last pimp movie you saw that sucked?
I don't know.
Okay, just throwing that out there, man.
I'm going to give it 3 stars.
All right.
All right, I'm Michael Mandy. He's Rowdy Jeff. We'll talk to you next week at the Horror Debate.